Alright, so I'm up here on the 6620. I came down to start it up since, well, I have it advertised for sale starting this week, so I wanted to make sure it ran alright. And I come down here to fire it up, and it started like usual. It sat for a little while, so it sort of lost its prime, so I had to use starting fluid again. But whenever I fired it up, I noticed the engine fan wasn't running, which it's just a belt like any old school. And as you can see, the belt's not on, but the belt is still there and together and everything, and I wondered what was going on. So I noticed it smelled a little funny out here, and it still smells a little funny. So I thought, great, I wonder what climbed in here to get and chewed my belt off. Well, apparently over the winter, I had a problem with mice in the combine, and I thought, and mice like eating rubber, because they chewed through a radiator hose on our old Gleaner K we had. So, but I kept feeding them poison and they'd always eat it, and it'd always disappear. Well, it wasn't a mouse that dealt with the belt. In a video that that you should have already saw on a little bit of rambling on the 6620, I had talked about how I found a snake's head in the grain bin. So and I didn't find the rest of the snake in the bin. So I'm sure if you put two and two together, you can tell where this story's going. And it's really hot, by the way. It's like 100 degrees with heat indexes in the 110, 115 degrees. So, but yeah, I found the rest of the snake. It was wrapped around the pulley. I just got done digging it out. So it's down here on the ground. I'll show you. Right there it is. There's the rest of the snake. It's down there. Over there's the other part of it. It was actually not that hard to pull out because it was stiff and it was pretty stiff and dried up. It just wrapped around the fan a little bit. So I gotta put the belt back on, then I'm gonna fire the combine back up and let it run, just to get the fuel system all primed up, because I don't know why, but this one loses prime in the fuel system when it sits for a while, and then you gotta use ether to start it. So I'm gonna throw that belt back on, and then I'll come back to you whenever I fire it up again. Alright, so I got it all back together now. Didn't take very long, just had to figure out which way the belt went. As you can see, there's the belt and it's on, wrapped around the tightener. I did look everything over, it looks right. Belt's not rubbing on anything, so we're gonna crank it up and see if the fan works this time. I still have the side open just in case I need to work on something because it's a pain. That is one thing I do like about these 20 series is that door, and the 100 series is that door. But let's see if we can get her going. It should fire up because I did have it running a little bit. Oh yeah, like a brand new one. Out here. That's one thing about combines, you got to keep the critters out of them, or the other critters move in to eat the critters that moved in originally. So it seems to be working all right. There's the shaft, but it's going around in there. raining again. Up here. All closed up. Let the turbo cool down a little bit. I'm gonna let it idle for a little while. Come out here. Check this junk out. One thing, ever since I bought that combine, it always seems to lose its prime in the fuel system whenever you let it sit for 3 weeks. It'll start right up and then it'll go and then it'll just die and you'll just sit there and crank and crank and crank and crank on it. And the only way that I've found to get it to get its prime again is to shoot a little bit of starting fluid in it to get it to go. And then once you get the starting fluid in it, it'll fire right up every time. But yeah, that's just what I'm up to today. I gotta go up and work on the sprayer. I gotta fix the booms on that. Other than that, I might do a little bit of dirt moving today. It's really dry though. We haven't had rain in like a month. So the corn's really shriveling up and the beans are bad. I did get beans sprayed last week to kill the weeds off to try to conserve as much moisture as possible. But they're calling for a chance of they were calling for a chance of thunderstorms last Wednesday, and we just didn't get them. They went to the south of us, so we're just hoping for rain, and that's all we can hope for. Can't control the weather because we don't have irrigation, and it's not economical for us here. So, but thanks for watching, guys. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.